So, you want to tell me that someone in this government, in his wildest imagination, would think of planning to arrest Gachagua? Seriously, that someone in this government sat down and contemplated to arrest Gachagua because of the sentiments and the statement that Gachagua made? Because Gachagua simply said that that if this country, if the election will be stolen, then whatever happened in 2007, 2008 will be like a Christmas party. Then someone will sit down in his wildest imagination and then think that he's going to come out and arrest Gachagua because of that. You know, that is just crazy, even to think of that idea. And I'll tell you why it's crazy. But before I go into all these details and everything, if you are new to this platform and you're coming here for the first time, kindly take a second to subscribe and to hit the notification bell so that anytime I post a video, you'll always be the first to watch. My name is the African Updater, and what we do here, we simply analyze politics in the best way possible that we understand it. So kindly subscribe, na kama kawaida, I'll be back. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed, and for the return subscribers, I really appreciate you guys, man. You guys are making this channel grow. We are on the road to 3,000. We are almost to 3,000. Tumebakisha watu kama 20 subscribers. So, manze, the first 20 subscribers imnifikisha to 3,000, and I'll really appreciate you guys. The journey has just been incredible. Okay, back to my video. So as I was saying, that someone alikaa chini, akafikiria, akapiga hesabu, akacalculate, akaamua that this time round we are going to arrest Gachagua, because simply Gachagua has said that there's a plan to rig election which might have dire consequences in 2027. The truth of the matter is that we all know that there is an attempt to rig the election. This election has always been rigged from 2007. So we always know that any incumbent president will try to rig the election. That is common sense. That is like something even a class 1 mwenye atakwambia that is something that anyone who is incumbent will have those thoughts. And you can see from the selection of the IBC. Anyway, before I go into the details, I just want you to watch this video from Gachagua, and then I'll come back and I will give my analysis. So watch this video, na kama kawaida, I'll be back.
To change the context of what I said. Mimi sijasema Kenya itakuwa na fujo. Mimi nimesema, nikisikiza wa Kenya vile wanasema wewe William Ruto usijaribu kuiba uchaguzi, na nimeuliza IBC, please be patriotic, msiweke hii nchi kwa shida, because history has shown when there is a contested election there can be violence, and it has happened, and we must refer to history. That's why I said we saw what happened in 2007. So please, IBC, make sure you don't create a situation where we can have a recurrence of what happened in 2007. Because if it happens this time the way people are talking, it can be worse.
Na mimi nimwambia William Ruto, wewe umezoea kutisha watu, kushika watu. Ati wewe unataka kushika Rigathi Gachagua. Itawezekana? Itawezekana? Mnasema ajaribu? Hata saa hii tumepata habari ile governor wa Tanzania anaitwa George Natembea, ati wanataka kushika yeye. Mimi namwambia watu wangu hapa Murang'a, wakishika Natembea, hata sisi tutafuka barabara tusimamisha hii Kenya. Tumekubaliana? Unajua huyu Kasongo ametuchukua ufala. Alinifukuza kazi mkanyamaza, kweli? Katigwa. Wewe William Ruto hapana sumbua George Natembea. Si ndio? Unajua yeye anataka kutawala sisi na nguvu, na haiwezekani. Katigwa.
You have watched the video, mumeona hizo video, and you've seen how Gachagua has spoken, and there's an attempt to arrest him, man. That someone will sit down and think of arresting Gachagua because of that. You know, there's some consequences. It's the same way we always say that there's some consequences in arresting someone like Raila Odinga. That's why you see Raila Odinga always causes chaos, but he's not arrested. But people who are junior to him, people who are subservient to him, always get arrested. They are arraigned in court. But Raila himself has never been arrested and arraigned in court. You know, there's a level as a politician, there's a level that you reach that it becomes so hard to arrest you, and not because arresting you is something that is so difficult for the government. No, it's easy, but the consequences that might come with it, not even might, that will come with it, might just be something that the government cannot contain. A good example, if you arrest somebody like Raila, there's going to be high chances that there's going to be serious demonstration across the country, especially in areas that he has very strong supporters. So the chaos that will come with it will be very hard, because the demonstration will not be peaceful demonstration. It will just be chaotic, will just be a violent demonstration, which government cannot risk, because that such a thing can lead to destruction of properties and so many other things. So that's why most of the time they always avoid such kind of arrest. And to be sincere, no matter how much you try to look at it, ama nini, I know some of you people don't like Gachagua at all. For me, in this platform, I always try to be objective as possible. I have no personal issues against any politician, but the truth of the matter is Gachagua has taken the position of Raila as opposition leader. Gachagua right now is so influential that any attempt on his life or any arrest will have dire consequences. So there are some things, that's why I'm saying that someone cannot just sit down and imagine that he can do some certain kind of things. You get? I know, as much as we say that as politician, Gachagua also needs to be very, very critical na statements zake vile anazisema, but arresting him will have more serious consequences than what it might portend for now. And then another thing, arresting Gachagua will only make him more bold and make him more popular, because apparently in this country we have always seen that politicians who didn't have even so much support and everything, the moment they get arrested they become like heroes. So that would be like making Gachagua a hero now to the Kikuyu community and the people who listen to him, because Gachagua is commanding a following. Let's not lie to each other. You saw what happened in Githurai. You see, it was just a stopover, but you can see how that place was crowded. You get? So Gachagua has turned into a movement, and Gachagua is the most influential politician right now in Kenya, especially from Mount Kenya. So any arrest on him, it's pretty difficult. There's something that the government cannot even think. Even if they want to deal with Gachagua, there are other means they can try to do so. And this issue of IBC, come on guys, this is something that is pretty obvious. It is right there on your face. You know, the only way, and this is the truth of the matter, the only way Ruto will be president in 2027 is if he rig. That is the reality. Stop lying to each other. We are Kenyans. Let's tell each other the truth. The only way Ruto will be president again in 2027 will only happen if he rigs that election. But now the challenge that he has is, at what point should he rig? And the only place that he feels he can rig is through the IBC commissioners and at the bombers. That is where he feels he can rig, because that is the only place that many Kenyans cannot access. But now it comes down to the issue. Why has Gachagua said that 2027 might just be a child play, or just might be a Christmas party? It is because this time Kenyans are so vigilant. The level of vigilance that is there in Kenya, especially when it comes to election, will be so high. Because remember, the Ruto, this chant that has been saying that he must go, lazima in the home. These things have started 2 years before, even not 2 years, just a year and a half before even the next election. Yani, a year and a half since he got into power. So these chants have been there, and they are still continuing. And I trust you me, any person you speak with in the street, deep down in their heart, deep down in they are all saying that they are tired of this government. It is very hard to find somebody when you speak one-on-one. Wachana na watu wa 10 bila break that keep on yapping on the social media platforms and everything. Leave those people alone. Just go anytime you go anywhere, even in a matatu, even in anywhere. Listen, even when people are talking. Very few people out of 10 people, you will find one person or none. So do tell me, where will the president get these votes that is supposedly he wants to get in 2027? Where? It is going to be difficult, and that is the truth. Gachagua is simply saying the truth. And the reason why he's mentioning the issue of violence, of course, no one supports violence. No one prays for violence, because we have lived the consequences of 2007, especially for those people who lived in Nakuru. The consequences of that, the effect of that post-election violence. It is not terrible. It is something you will never wish anybody to go through. But now we are in a situation whereby if the Kenyans are so vigilant, then this situation and the election is rigged openly, then this one might bring chaos in this country. And one thing I know, the chaos that will be there will only be the chaos against the system and the people. Because I'm sure in 2027, if people are going to revolt against the system, and the system will try to fight back. That is where the issue will be in 2027. So it is very tricky for whoever wants to be the commissioner in this election, because you are dealing with a very, very serious election. This is an election that the commissioners cannot risk to rig. I know they are saying that Ruto has already appointed his people. Of course, such things are expected. Sometimes I wonder why Kenyans get surprised over some things, because some things are pretty obvious. Now the issue, what Kenyans need to know, and what Kenyans need to now consolidate and think through, is how do they make sure that the election will be transparent, free and fair, even without the IEBC, because the IEBC will be compromised. That's the reality. But out here we have Kenyans who have brains, who are smart. We have lawyers. We have Kenyans who are very, very brilliant out here. The thing for us is, how do we sit down and think through such that in 2027, whenever the IBC, any step that the IBC will be making, then also will be ahead of time in terms of countering anything that will find mischievous. We'll highlight them throughout mapema, so that by the time tunafika kwa ile point ya ku-announce, by the time we are announcing the president at Bomas, Kenyans already know who is the president. The people in all these social media platform will already have known who has won and everything. So these things can be done. It is very easy. It's very easy. It's only for Kenyans to be vigilant, to come up with not even with system, to see how they are going to be awake, because the election says and that what is announced at the polling station is final. So if what is announced at the polling station is final, how difficult is that? It is very easy to know who has won this election. Kenyans just need to take up that role of the IBC on their own, in terms of making sure that you vote, you sit there, you wait for the votes to be counted. Whoever is announced as the president, you take those figures and then you share with the people, and then people will do the tally for all the polling stations. How many polling stations we'll have? We'll have so many polling stations, around around 30,000 or something, or 50, I don't know. But whatever the number it is, Kenyans will just sit down and calculate. It's very easy. So this is a wake-up call to all Kenyans, that in 2027 we have to be vigilant. We cannot sleep. We have to be vigilant, so that whoever even will try to rig the election at Bomas, hata yeye mwenyewe ataona ibu, because the results will already be out. So atakuwa na announce results gani tofauti. So things will be very, very murky, and things will be very, very difficult, and we'll have a lot of evidence. Even watu wakienda Supreme Court, there'll be a lot of evidence, and Kenyans need to be vigilant. We need to be outside there saying that this election has been tampered with. And it's going to be messy. I just don't know how I can imagine. But Gachagua, what he's saying, in terms of violence, I don't think they'll be violent. The only thing I know is that Kenyans will rise up to the occasions. Kenyans will fill the streets. Kenyans will come out and vent their anger in terms of their frustration if the election will be rigged. That one I know. In terms of people, Kenyans standing against each other, I really doubt. Because honestly, even in the community that the president comes from, you can see there's so many resentment. People still feel who jamaa may fail. So which community will be fighting against which community? I don't expect communities to be fighting in 2027 unless the politicians start inciting Kenyans and dividing them on the tribal lines, because that is the only reason why people fight. People fight because politicians come in between and then they divide them with all these shenanigans and all ni mtu wetu mtu wetu mtu wetu mtu wetu. So unless they do that and the people maybe in the Rift Valley buy that idea, then that will happen. But if we are all united into ensuring that at the end of the day we change the system and change the regime, trust you me, we can beat, Kenyans can beat any system, and not even Kenyans, globally. Once the citizens unite against something, the system will always crumble. So that is it. So anything, what do you have to say about the sentiments by Gachagua and what the government is trying to do in terms of arresting him and all these things? So whatever it is, share it in the comment section. But above it all, kindly remain respectful. It is very, very important that you remain respectful. Do not insult anyone. Do not attack anyone. Remain objective. Just share your thoughts and then we'll appreciate. Thank you. Until next time. Bye-bye.
The African Update.